Hey guys, so I got my book all sewn. I left the thread how it is to kind of sort of show you the next step. And I figured I'll make the book and cover it, and then I'll do a second one of doing the pages and making tags and such for that. Just so sort of make it like a two-part series on this journal book. I did pull out some watercolor paper. I think this is 180 pound. I think, I seen somewhere. Okay, well, I think it was on the wrapper before I took it off. But, I'm not technically sure. I know this is some heavy, like, watercolor paper. And let me see here. And I'm going to get my cutter and my ruler. I'm going to figure out how long this is and how long I want my paper to be. Okay, this is about 8 inches. Sorry, guys. Dang cold. Okay, so 8 inches. And then I want to make it by 3.5. So I'm going to make it 7.5 by 3.5 for the front page, because they're all going to sort of, besides if, like this one's a little narrower, like if you can see, a little narrower than the second page. The second page and the middle page are about the same, and then the back page is going to be all different measurements. So I'm going to cut to 3.5. Okay, and then I'm going to cut to 7.5. This is just a standard Fiskars trimmer. This is actually by far my favorite. I own about 8 or 9 different trimmers, and this is my go-to. I love this trimmer. So for adhesive, I'm going to use Glossy Accents as my base glue. And on the inside, all I'm going to cover with paper are going to be the bottom pockets, I think. I haven't really made up my mind on that yet. So, I'm going to just kind of move these strings and tuck them in for right now. I'm not even going to deal with them. So I'm going to use Glossy Accents, because Glossy Accents, is a good glue, like, because I'm going to be using wet mediums and such on this, so it will withstand, like, any kind of mists and such. So I'm just going to put on my watercolor paper to where I think I'm going to want it, and I want it to be texture side up. And this is where I'm actually going to do, like, my journaling and decorations is going to be on the watercolor paper. I'm just going to come in and just put a few lines, and then this will help me line it up. And I'm kind of doing it thin to where the glue will dry faster. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip it over and adhere it to my cover. Okay, and then grab a couple clothespins and just kind of clothespin that in place for now. Okay, for the inside, I'm going to trim this thread right here back to like right there. And then I'm going to see if I could pull this one up through the pocket. And if you just pull the bobbin part thread, the bobbin thread, it should pull your other thread to the surface also. And I'm going to measure this little pocket and put a piece of watercolor paper there. Like, just to where it's on the pocket. Like, this isn't going to be the size, but sort of, if you get the idea. And then, so, if I get my ruler right. Okay. So that's about 4 inches before the fold. So I'm going to do this at 3.5. And then this is going to be about, let's say, 3.5 also. So 3.5 by 3.5 is going to be my measurements for that pocket. So I'm going to take that piece of watercolor paper that I've already started cutting into, and cut that to 3.5 by 3.5. And that should fit nicely right over the stitching. I'm not wanting to necessarily hide the stitching. I just want a place to do any kind of like work. I'm taking some glossy accents and just rubbing it over the threads to kind of keep them in place and keep the stitching from moving. Okay, and then I'm going to take my paper and fill it. You could fill on this particular type of paper where the textured side is. And that's the side that's going to hold any kind of liquid better. So that's why I'm using the non-textured side. And also for art journaling, more the texture the better. So, and I'm just going to place that piece of paper right there. And also I'm going to make tags out of watercolor paper for inside that, just so I also have that kind of base to keep it consistent. On this next page is about 4.5, so I'm going to cut it by 4 by 3.5, I'm going to say. Yeah, 4 by 3.5. So I'm going to measure till 4 and come to 3.5. And I'm just going to go ahead and measure out the next one also, because my backside page is going to be the same size. So I'm going to come to 3.5 and then to 4. And I'm going to set this aside again. And I'm going to just take this clothespin and kind of just stick it right here. I got a few. This just helps it stay in place as it dries. Glossy accents, when you do it in thin layers, it does dry pretty fast. But textured side. And this one I'm going to kind of sort of leave the stitching to where you can see the stitching down the bind. Just because I do like the look of the stitching. And I'm just giving it a nice all-over coat of glue. And lining it up with that one there to where it looks pretty straight. You can see my stitch line wasn't relatively straight right there. But who cares? This is all the art, right? It's not meant to be perfect all the time. And I'm just going to line this piece up with the inside pocket again. And then I'm going to take these clips and hold this in place again. And this one here. And then I'm going to measure again. And I know it's going to be 3.5, so I just got to figure out my width. And I'm going to say about 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 for that side. So it's 3.5 by 4.5. Now let's see. That is 3.5. And it only goes to 4. Let me see. You know what? I like that. So I'm not even going to measure and cut that. So I'm going to find my texture side and add my glue, because this side, it's 3 by 4. And I kind of like the little bit of overhang that gives me. And I'm just going to kind of look and line this up with the first one. And then all I got left to do is cover my back page here. Now with this string here, I'm just going to take and tie it off and then snip it. And the same with this string. I'm sorry about the bumpy, guys. And then the same with this string, I think. If I can get them to separate. There for right now. Okay, so all of my pages are tied off except this one here. This one here, I'm going to glue this one in place like I did the others. Just because it's going to be covered in, I know it doesn't need to be seen really. Okay, so I'm going to measure, and I'm going to come in by, I'm losing my voice again. I hate this. Okay, so it's by 8. I'm going to do 7.5 by, let's do by my narrowest, by 4. 7.5 by 4. Let's see if I could get this to be 7.5. It should be able to, because I think it's 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11. Yeah, 8 by 11 sheets. Yeah. So cut off this, and then by 4. Did I 4 or 4.5? Let's do 4 and a 4. Yeah, 4 works great. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to get a sip. Okay, so now we got to add glue onto the not so textured side. And make sure you get nice and close to the edges to where it wants to stay in there permanently. Sorry, I sound horrible. I shouldn't even be doing videos when I'm sick. It's just so rude to be coughing. Okay, I'm going to pull some of these clips. And I'm just going to kind of put them on all the corners there. And then once it's completely dry, I'll come in and show you what it looks like. And then I will start the art process of this. Okay, see you then. So it's all dry and ready to make tags for the inside. And so that is how it looks. It looks really, really good. And the sewing looks really good. And so I thought what I'd do, since we're making the base of this video, I thought I'd make just the base of the tags this video with you guys. I have 2 sheets of the watercolor paper left over. And so what I want to do is measure the width of the pocket and then come 1/4 of an inch smaller than what the width of the pocket actually is, so it slides in and out really nice. And then I want to measure the length of this whole book, which I believe is around 8 inches or shorter. Yeah, it's about 7 3/4, slightly over 7 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in 7.5 for all of them, but I'm going to measure each pocket width, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to come in here and make this whole thing 7 to where all I gotta do is worry about trimming for the pocket. So I'll just throw my scrap up there really quick. So this first pocket, I did sew a little inside of the pocket, about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to come to where the stitching line is, and I can still see the stitching line even through the watercolor paper. Not like really dominantly, but I can still tell where it is. So this first tag is going to be kind of narrow. It's going to be about 2 1/4 inches. So, don't know exactly what I'm going to do with a 2 1/4 inch tag, but it will be what it is. So, that is sort of like a bookmark. So maybe I'll do this as a bookmark, and this should slide in there nicely and slide out to where it's not too tight. And what I'm going to do with one of these scrap pieces is I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut off an angle like that. And if you don't have, and I'm doing this, I do have a tag corner punch, but I'm doing this for people who don't have a tag corner punch to show you how easy it is to make your own tag corners. So what you do is you just follow along that first line you cut, and then you just flip over either the tag or the corner that you just cut. I cut right-handed, so I just find it easier to flip the paper that I'm working. And then you have a perfect, let me see, tag every single time. It's even. So now I have a little tag that will fit nicely into my book out of watercolor paper. And so now I'm going to come in, and I know this one, I think we cut by 4, right? So I'm just going to cut this and match the same size as the watercolor, because I did leave a border. So yes. So I'm going to just come in and cut the next 2 by 4 and save that. And then this next one, it might even be a little too narrow. But this one might work for the back. So I'm just going to set that aside. Come in and cut it by 4. And then I'm going to cut it by 7.5 again. Okay, and then so, you see those 2 should be. Okay, and then where's that little paper? Okay, so what you do is you just line it up again. I'll show you all over again. Just line up that little corner that you cut off. And cut along the corner there, and you should have the same type of corner on each side of your tag now. Okay, and then you just come in with your corner crumper, or your, not corner crumper, but your big bite, and see, I didn't even get that centered, but you know what, it gives it character, so I'm not even going to complain. It's an art journal. My crooked lines and whatnot. Okay, so this is getting a little stiff, and it's probably because of my crooked sewing job. So I should have checked first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut a 1/4 off here off this side, and then I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off that side to where my lines are still straight. And hopefully it will fit nicely in there. There we go. So now I got a 3-inch tag. And so what I'm going to do is, or a 3.5 inch tag. I'm just going to take my other 4-inch one and come to 3.5 and cut that off, and it should fit nicely in my tag again. I'm going to cut my corners. And like if you don't like this one I was going to show you, you can do different size corners. So if you only want a shallow corner, and you could keep this little tag that you made, and this could be your base for making the tags. So let's see, this one's more of a standard type shipping tag corner. Just line it up and snip. So there you go. And then if you want to be like fiddly with it, then you can measure from this side to this side, find your center that way, but I really honestly don't care. And then so you just tuck that side in there also. So now I have tags for inside my book. And these inside tags right here, just because of the tight fit they're fitting in there, probably from just the creases and everything, I'm going to do those kind of flat as in artwork. And then this last one, I'm going to check and see if this one slides in there nicely, and if it does, I'm just going to cut the corners. See if it slides right in there right nice. So. Okay. And there we go. Do a hole punch to where it would be about center, and then tuck my tag in there, and now I have my book with all my little tags in it and ready to start art journaling. So have fun with this, you guys, and I'm going to link Carly's video below because she sort of shows you the same exact technique on how to make this book. And also I'm going to link Messy Desk below because we're always having these really cool challenges and everything, and if you're looking for a group to join, well, why not, you know? There's tons of fabulous ladies and really friendly people. So anyways, I will see you guys in, if you choose to watch the decorating video, in the decorating video. Toodles!